Good morning and welcome to Life Without Shakers, and today I'm in beautiful tranquil Mosedale underneath the evocatively named Apron Full of Stones, and it's time to complete my journey around the Northern Fells. Yeah, only 4 fells left to do in book 5, and I'm going to start immediately up this hill, up this slope behind me to Carrock Fell, which is little more than a mile away. And then I'm going to head on to High Pike, and from High Pike I'm going to retrace my steps to pick up 2 of the fells that I could have picked up on my first excursion around the Northern Fells, being Knott and Great Calva. But I'm glad I didn't pick those up on that walk, because I ended up doing nearly 20 miles as it was, and I think another 2 fells that day would have pretty much finished me off. So that's the itinerary for today. The weather forecast has been horribly wrong. The mountain weather information said it was going to be 70% chance of clear summits, especially in the north, and you can't get much northern than here. But it has been drizzling all morning. However, the cloud appears to be lifting slightly, so hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. And the rain stopped, and the hilly bits only take up a small portion of the walk today, about half of it. The other half will be 5 or 6 miles along the infant River Caldew, following part of the Cumbria Way, as the Caldew gathers energy for its long journey to Carlisle. Yeah, so that's what's in store for today. Let's get going. I said beautiful tranquil Mosedale in my introduction there. It is beautiful and tranquil, apart from all the cars parked right at the foot of this climb. Popular spot on a Saturday morning. Right, this initial climb looks pretty steep, but yeah, hopefully it shouldn't last too long. Oh, I think I'm past the worst of the climb. That was tough. It was pretty steep, and thanks to this morning's rain it was very slippery in places. I had to have some careful foot placement. Doesn't even have a name, that climb. Wainwright just calls it a scree rake. He also said it shouldn't be climbed in mist, so luckily I managed to avoid the mist, although it is clouding over now I've got up it. Nearly at the summit now though. And as promised, just over my lane, I've reached the summit of Carrock Fell, 2,174 feet. This is waymark number 21 of the Northern Fells. Carrock Fell caters for a wide variety of interests. More than any other fell in the district, it attracts people who are not regular walkers or climbers, people indeed to whom walking for its own sake has little appeal, and it's here on Carrock only a means to an end and not an end in itself. In the field of mining, Carrock is a famous name, having a series of veins that have yielded a variety of rich and rare metals and other minerals. Yeah, I think it's fair to note that the mountain weather information meteorologists have got it wrong today. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to get any views at all from any of the summits, and it looks like route finding is going to be a little bit tricky. So, yeah, let's go and try and find where I'm going next. This might be quite a pleasant stroll. It is July in a couple of days. You wouldn't know it if it was more like mid-November. At least the path is pretty well discernible, apart from the bits where it disappears into a swamp. This is my first encounter of today with the Cumbria Way, which is handy, because it means I shouldn't miss the summit of High Pike, because the way goes straight over it. Should also help me get back the other way towards Knott and Great Calva later on. Today. Wainwrights says all natives of Calbecken district have a deep-rooted respect for High Pike. It is a natural background to their lives, its name a household word. This not because the fell dominates the neighbourhood by commanding presence, it is too flat and sprawling to catch the eye, but simply because it happens to be there, just over the treetops, and always has been there, playing a part in the development of the community. The fell is massive, occupying the northeast corner of the high country back of Skidder, where it overlooks the border and the valley of the Eden. There is volcanic rock underlying the higher parts, but this is not greatly in evidence, the slopes being uniformly smooth and grassy except where broken by the eroded ravines that contain watercourses. Beyond the summit is a hinterland of heathery moors, rarely visited and in a fair way to becoming a natural reserve for birds and animals. We don't use any of that section. Okay, it's testing my patience now, this cloud. Only 2 more fells to go in book 5 though, so let's get them out of the way and get out of this bloody mist. Now that is just a complete swamp. Hopefully this is the way up to Knott now though. And sure enough, looming out of the mist, there is a hill. Somewhere around here of a hill. And there's something over there. It might be it, it might not. It's quite dispiriting when you cannot see anything at all. You can't see where you're going, there's nothing to drive you on really. Other than the need to get out of this. The pleasant sight of a cairn looming out of the mist. This is the summit of Knott, 2,329 feet. This is Wainwright number 23 of Book 5. Knott occupies a commanding position across the middle of the group of fells north of Skiddaw Forest, of which it is the highest. Long and narrow, it is nearly 4 miles from end to end, the extremities being rough but the in-between a vast smooth sheep pasture. Grand tramping country in spite of a lack of paths, landmark and features of interest. On the whole, this is an easy, accommodating fell with no natural hazards, but it is the very absence of identifiable objects that makes the top especially confusing in mist. Down towards Great Calva. Oh, I'm really not enjoying this at the moment. I think I'm near the summit of Great Calva now. You just can't tell. It's so difficult to walk. And constantly checking the route to check you go in the right direction. Or you're just avoiding swamps and then trying to find the path again. I just want to get back down out of this cloud back into the valley, but of course the only way to get down is to carry on. Hooray, a feature! I can follow this fence all the way to the summit. Oh, and at last for today, the 24th and final summit of the Northern Fells. This is Great Calva, 2,265 feet. And this fence really does go right over the summit, actually separates me from the summit cairn. Wainwright says most regular visitors to Lakeland will be familiar with the outline of Great Calva, even though they may never in their wanderings have been within miles of it, because its symmetrical pyramid neatly fills in the head of the valley opening south between the Skiddaw and Blancaffer massives, and is conspicuously seen from many points on the busy road approaching Keswick from Grasmere. It occupies a splendid position overlooking the broad depression of Skiddaw Forest, with which it seems to be inseparably associated, more so even than Skiddaw itself. Calva dominates the forest, rising from it in a strange patchwork of colours indicative of areas of heather. The actual top, which is stony, is a fine belvedere, but behind is an extensive plateau without an irrigation system, and so forming a morass across which one can step gingerly to the solid ground of Little Calva, a place of little interest, and beyond the fell drops away steeply in a series of spiky arêtes to magnificent dash falls. This is Calva's best aspect. Nevertheless, the fell's appeal is more likely to depend upon its unique function as a watchtower of Skiddaw Forest. Right, time to go back down to the Caldew Valley. I can follow this fence all the way down, I think. The sooner I get out of this cloud, the better. Look at this. All of a sudden I'm below the level of the cloud and the view has opened up. There are nice things to look at around here. After all, who'd have thought it? Right, I think I'm heading for that footbridge you can just see in the bottom of the valley, and then following the Caldew. I'm safely back at last, alongside the River Caldew. I'm about to join the Cumbria Way for a few miles. But first, I think it's a good time to stop and have some food, because that was a fraught couple of hours up on them there hills. Suitably refreshed. Hopefully not more than 5 miles back to the car now, and no more hills for today. Well, how about that? The summit ridge of Carrock Fell is just about visible now. Typical, isn't it? Still, I didn't have time to wait around all day for the skies to clear. Walking through the hamlet of Mosedale now, which means the end is just about in sight, and typically the sun has come out properly now. It's actually quite warm. Oh well, them's the breaks. Of the car now, and well, I think that was a rather forgettable day on the whole. I mean, ideally I wouldn't have gone up the fells in those conditions if I'd known it was going to be thick cloud, but then again I only had 4 to do and I was here already, and it didn't seem sensible to drive all the way home and drive all the way back on a different day to do them when the weather might have been better. Still, that is all 24 of Wainwrights Northern Fells ticked off, and yeah, the last Caldew Valley were. That's quite nice stretch for the most part until it turned into a tarmac road. At which point it was just like walking along a tarmac road. Rather tedious in places. Yeah, as I say, that completes the Northern Fells. Next up is the Northwestern Fells. So, hope you join me for those. As ever, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed what you could see of the fells I've been up today. And hope you can join me again next time. Until then, bye. The wind's dropped.